The return for 500,000 years, the galaxy had forgotten Earth. The old alien empires believed humanity was long gone, a failed species lost to time to them. Earth was nothing but a ruined rock floating in silence, but now, the stars carried. Whispers again, strange signals pulsed from the forgotten planet, weak yet persistent. It was enough to draw the attention of the Zerati Empire, an ancient race that once ruled over humans like masters rule over slaves. The Zerati High Council gathered in their vast throne chamber. Lit by cold blue light, they stared at the signals. On their glowing screens, after 500,000 years, the humans dared to speak again? One counselor hissed, another chuckled, they are probably dust by now. Their world must be a tomb, but the Supreme Commander raised a long, silver hand. No. The signals are not random, something on Earth is awake. A fleet was ordered at once. Massive ships, each the size of a small moon, moved through the void. Their weapons bristled, their engines roared. They were not coming to greet old friends. They were coming to claim a forgotten world. As the fleet neared Earth, silence filled the bridge of the command ship through the wide viewing glass. The planet came into sight. At first glance, it seemed normal: green continents, blue oceans, white clouds, but then they noticed it, strange, glowing lines across the surface like scars, or veins stretching across continents. Structures rose higher than mountains, shining with a soft, unnatural light. Earth was not dead, it was alive in a way the Zerati could not understand. Impossible, one officer whispered. The commander narrowed his eyes. This is not the Earth we left behind. Sensors picked up energy waves far beyond anything known. Not just technology, not just biology, something in between. The planet itself was humming like a heart beating slowly, a rhythm too steady, too strong, and beneath that rhythm, voices, soft at first, like echoes, then louder, blending together. Countless voices speaking as one, but the words were strange, unclear. It was as if the planet itself was whispering to them. The crew shifted nervously. Are those humans? One asked. No, another replied. Humans could never create something like this. But in their hearts, fear was rising. Because they remembered how fragile humans once were, and yet this was no fragility. This was power, something alien yet familiar. A scout ship was launched. It descended through the clouds and approached one of the massive structures. The closer it came, the clearer the details became. The structure was not made of stone or metal. It was alive. Its surface pulsed, its walls breathed. Glowing veins of light moved like blood through arteries. It was both city and creature. The Zerati scouts gasped. This is not natural. The pilot tried to open a communication channel, but before he could send a word, the ship's systems flickered. Screens lit up with symbols that no alien had ever seen. Then came a voice, clear, strong, and human. Welcome back, it said. The scouts froze. That voice did not come from any ship. It came from the structure itself, a building speaking like a person. But the tone was not friendly, it was calm to calm. Like a predator that had already trapped its prey, the pilot stammered, identify yourself. The voice responded with cold amusement. We are humanity. You left us behind, but we did not die. We changed. The crew aboard the command ship listened in silence as the report came through. The counselors stared in shock. This cannot be. One muttered, another whispered, if they are humanity, then what have they become? The commander clenched his fists. They were weak. We crushed them before, we will crush them again. But even he could not hide the unease in his voice. The fleet hung in orbit, watching the living planet below. For the first time in millennia, the Zerati felt doubt, and in that silence, Earth seemed to pulse louder. The glowing lines across the planet brightened, like eyes opening after a long sleep. Then the voice returned, filling every comm system, every screen. You came back, you should not have. The aliens shivered. It was not just words, it was a warning, and deep down, they realized something terrifying. The humans they once knew were gone. What lived on Earth now was not weak, it was something greater, something that waited 500,000 years for this very moment, and it was awake. First contact Zerati Empire had fought countless wars, they had conquered entire star systems. They had erased species from the galaxy, but never had they seen anything like Earth. On the command ship Zereth Prime, silence ruled. The officers stared at the glowing planet, afraid to speak. The commander broke the stillness. Prepare the landing teams. We will see what the humans have become. 3 scout vessels broke away from the fleet and descended through the thick clouds. Lightning crackled, storms raged. But the ships cut through like blades. Below them, the land came into view. Forests stretched across continents, but they were not natural. Every tree pulsed with faint light. Every river carried glowing streams like liquid fire. The very air shimmered, alive with invisible energy. The lead scout ship landed on a wide plateau near one of the massive structures. Its surface was smooth like polished stone, yet it moved slightly under their feet. It was like standing on the back of some sleeping beast. The alien soldiers disembarked. their armor clanking as they stepped onto the strange ground. One soldier bent down and touched it. Immediately the ground rippled. Light spread from the touch like a wave. The soldiers pulled back, weapons raised. But the light faded. It was as if the planet had acknowledged their presence then ignored them. Inside their helmets, voices began to whisper, faint at first. Like echoes of forgotten dreams, then stronger, clearer. The voices were human, speaking in many languages, but somehow the aliens understood every word. Welcome, strangers, intruders, watchers. The voices said. The soldiers froze. This is not possible, one whispered. No translator is active, said another. The voices were not just heard, they were inside their minds. The alien leader activated his calm command. The planet is speaking to us. Repeat, the planet is. But before he could finish, his visor filled with images, flashes of faces, human faces, millions of them, children laughing, soldiers fighting, elders watching. Then the faces melted into light, becoming the glowing structures, as if all humanity had been poured into the planet itself. The soldier staggered. Commander, they are not dead, they are here, all of them. The words reached the ears of the Zerati commander in orbit. He scowled. This is madness. Continue the mission, find the source of the voices. The scouts moved toward the nearest structure. It towered into the clouds, its surface breathing slowly like a living chest. When they touched the outer wall, it opened, not with mechanical doors, but with living tissue folding apart. A tunnel of glowing light stretched inward. The soldiers hesitated. But orders were orders. They entered inside. The walls pulsed with light. The tunnel branched into vast chambers filled with strange growths, like machines fused with veins and nerves. The air vibrated with energy. It was warm, almost like being inside a living body. Then the voices grew louder. This time, it was not whispers, it was a chorus. Countless voices speaking in unison. You should not have returned. The soldiers raised their weapons. Identify yourself. Their leader shouted. The walls themselves responded. We are humanity, the flesh you once enslaved, the minds you once broke. We remember. The soldiers exchanged nervous glances. One muttered, this is a trap. Another whispered, no. This is them. This is what humans became back in orbit. The Zerati commander's face twisted with rage. Enough games. Demand to speak with their leader. The soldier inside obeyed. He shouted into the chamber. Show us your leader. Show us the one in command. The glowing walls pulsed brighter from the floor. A figure began to rise. It was human-shaped, tall, cloaked in flowing light. Its face shifted between countless forms: man, woman, child, soldier, scientist. All humanity blended into one. It stepped forward, eyes burning with a soft white fire. We are one. We are all. We are the leader you seek, it said. The aliens fell back in shock. The figure raised its hand and the walls trembled. We have waited for this day. You left us to die. You thought time would erase us, but time only made us stronger. The alien leader's voice shook as he reported to orbit. Commander, we cannot fight this. It is not a species, it is a hive, a mind without end. But the commander's pride would not bend. No hive can defeat the Zerati Empire. Capture it. Bring it aboard. The soldiers aimed their weapons at the figure, but before they could fire, the ground beneath them came alive. The floor wrapped around their legs like vines. Their weapons dissolved in their hands, and the figure leaned closer. You come to capture us? We captured you the moment you landed. The comms cut to static on the orbiting flagship. The commander's face went pale. The last sound from the scouts was a scream, then silence. And on the surface, the glowing figure turned its face upward, toward the fleet in orbit. Now, it is your turn. The Sekreth Zerati fleet floated above Earth in tense silence. Hundreds of warships surrounded the planet, their weapons charged, their engines humming with power. But inside the command bridge of the flagship Zereth Prime, unease spread like poison. The commander stared at the planet below, his jaw clenched, his eyes dark with fury. He had just lost an entire landing squad. No distress beacon, no trace of wreckage, only silence. And silence, he knew, was more terrifying than battle. Prepare the second wave, he ordered. But his officers hesitated. One finally spoke, voice trembling. Commander, with respect, what if the humans are not so alive as we know them? The commander's eyes burned. Alive or dead, flesh or machine, it makes no difference. They are humans, and humans are weak. Yet even as he spoke, his voice carried doubt. Meanwhile, deep inside the glowing structures on Earth, the alien figure of light walked among the captured scouts. The soldiers floated midair, held by invisible strands of energy, their helmets torn away, their minds exposed. They screamed not from pain, but from visions. Visions of Earth's past, cities burning, skies filled with ash. Human armies fighting their last wars against the Zerati. The figure spoke, voice echoing in every chamber. You thought we perished. But we chose something greater. When the body fails, the mind can endure. We gave ourselves to the planet. We became more than flesh. We became memory and power. The soldiers cried out as their thoughts were read like open books. The figure shifted its gaze toward them. We see you, we know your fear, and we remember everything your empire did. The chamber grew colder, the figure's eyes glowed brighter. For 500,000 years, we waited. Not to be saved, not to be pitied, but to be remembered, and now, you return. And you will learn the truth. Back on the flagship, the Zerati commander demanded answers. Open a comm link. I want to speak with this abomination. The link crackled, then the human figure appeared as a projection in the center of the bridge. Its form flickered, sometimes a child, sometimes a warrior, sometimes an elder. Its voice carried 1,000 tones at once. Zerati Empire. You dare return to the world you tried to erase. The commander gritted his teeth. You speak of the past. We destroyed your people. We wiped Earth clean. How do you still exist? The figure leaned closer. Because we chose survival in a way you never understood. When you burned our cities, we did not fight with fire. We fought with thought. Our scientists built the Arc Matrix. A living system that held every human mind. Every soul, every memory. When our bodies died, our minds lived on. The Ark grew. The Ark learned. Until the Ark and Earth became one. The bridge crew gasped. One officer whispered. They fused their entire race into the planet. The commander barked. Impossible. No species could achieve such madness. The figure's eyes flared. Madness? No evolution. You see humans as fragile creatures, short-lived and reckless. But we are more enduring than any empire. You killed our bodies. But you only gave birth to something greater. The crew fell into fearful silence. The commander's pride, however, was unshaken. He spat at the projection. Then you are ghosts, shadows. Data pretending to be alive. You are not human anymore. For the first time, the figure's voice grew cold. We are more human than you could ever understand. Because humanity was never just flesh, it was will, it was memory, and memory does not die. The projection faded, the bridge shuddered as alarms rang. Commander, energy surged from the planet. Down below, the giant structures pulsed with light, the rivers of glowing fire blazed brighter. The very clouds swirled into vast storms. Lightning struck in rhythmic patterns, almost like the planet itself was breathing, preparing. The Zerati fleet tightened formation, weapons aimed at Earth. The commander roared. Prepare for planetary bombardment. Wipe this cursed world clean once more. But before the order could be executed, the human voice returned, not from comms, but from inside their very minds. Every soldier, every officer, every ship heard it. You cannot destroy us. We are not a world. We are not a fleet. We are the echo of humanity, bound to every grain of soil, every drop of water, every spark of energy. We are everywhere. The fleet trembled. Some officers clutched their heads, screaming. Others dropped to their knees, overwhelmed by visions of Earth's last war, of humans refusing to kneel, visions of the Arc Matrix consuming their dying people, preserving them for eternity. The commander's voice cracked. Block it out. Block it out. But no defense could stop the voices. They were inside, digging deeper. Then the figure's voice grew sharper. You wish to know our secret? Here it is. You thought time would erase us, but time made us infinite. Every second that passed, we grew stronger until we became what you see now. Not the end of humanity, but its beginning. The projection's face flickered into a smile. And you dared to return. The fleet's sensors screamed with warnings. Massive energy spikes across the planet. Earth itself was charging like a weapon. The commander's heart raced. His pride wavered. His certainty cracked. What have they become? He whispered, but the human voice answered for him. We became what you feared most. A humanity you cannot kill. Asterisk. The war begins. Zerati fleet hovered like a storm above Earth. Hundreds of warships, their hulls glowing with deadly energy, each weapon charged, ready to unleash destruction that could strip a planet bare, yet none fired. Because fear held them frozen. Every soldier, every commander, every captain still heard the voices. Whispers of humanity echoing in their minds, not one voice, but millions, men and women, young and old, all speaking at once. We are here, we remember, and we will never forgive. The Zerati commander slammed his fist against the command chair. Enough. They are trying to break us with illusions, weapons, online fire. The order rang through the fleet, and the sky lit up. Hundreds of beams of plasma and missiles streaked toward Earth. The planet glowed under the assault. The surface burned, mountains shattered. Oceans boiled. The fleet roared in triumph, but then silence fell. The fires faded, the smoke cleared, and Earth stood untouched. The soldiers stared in disbelief. The commander's voice trembled. What happened? A whisper echoed across the fleet. Your weapons strike nothing. Because we are not what you think. We are not just Earth. We are the Ark, and the Ark bends reality itself. From orbit, the Zerati saw impossible things. Cities of light rising from the oceans, mountains shifting into colossal towers. The very sky split apart with glowing patterns like veins of fire running across the heavens. The human figure appeared again, now taller, brighter, stretching into the clouds. Its voice thundered, "You burned our bodies, but you cannot touch what we have become. You wage war against memory itself, and memory cannot be destroyed." The fleet panicked. One captain screamed, "My ship system's failing, I can't control it." Another voice cried, "The Ark is hacking us, they're inside our computers." It was true, the ships flickered with human faces across their consoles. Old voices sang from their comms, warriors long dead whispered battle commands. Families long gone wept in the crew's ears, the ghosts of humanity filled every machine. Turning the Zerati fleet against itself, the commander, desperate, shouted, "Cut all networks. Fight manually if you must." But even as he gave the order, the Zerith Prime shuddered, the ship's main guns turned. Not toward Earth, but toward its own allies. A single blast ripped through a cruiser. It exploded in a ball of fire. The fleet erupted into chaos. The human voices grew louder. "This is justice. This is vengeance. This is the war you brought to us long ago. Now it returns to you." Ships fired blindly at one another. Some crews abandoned their stations, fleeing through escape pods. Others fell to their knees, covering their ears, trying to shut out the voices. But the voices were not only in their ears, they were in their souls. Then, something new happened. The ground below split apart, and from the chasms, titanic machines rose, not built of metal alone, but fused with stone, roots, and energy. Colossal warforms of Earth itself, each as large as a city. Their eyes burned like suns, their bodies crackled with lightning. The figure's voice declared, "The Ark was not only memory, it was creation. For 500,000 years, we built, we prepared. And now, the guardians of Earth rise again." The machines pointed their arms toward the sky, and beams of energy, brighter than any star, tore through the void. Dozens of Zerati warships exploded instantly. Their wreckage rained across the fleet. The commander watched in horror. "What are these monsters?" The figure's reply told him, "Not monsters, not machines, they are us. They are humanity reborn." The Zerati tried to fight back. Their warships unleashed wave after wave of firepower. But nothing worked. Every missile turned in midair, redirected by invisible forces. Every plasma shot bent away. The Guardians walked unharmed through storms of fire, and with every step, another warship fell. The commander's voice grew hoarse, "Retreat! Retreat!" But retreat was impossible. The Ark had already reached into their engines, locking them in place. One by one, Zerati ships found themselves frozen, trapped above the very world they once thought dead. Inside the Ark, the glowing human figure spoke softly, not to the commander, not to the fleet, but to itself. "This is not revenge. This is survival, and survival demands that the Zerati never forget again." Then its voice grew thunderous, "Your empire thought humanity was finished. Now you will carry our memory back to your stars, and you will fear us for the rest of your existence." The skies burned with explosions. The Guardians crushed ship after ship. The fleet of the mighty Zerati Empire, feared across the galaxy, was being destroyed by a planet they believed long dead. And in the middle of the destruction, the commander finally understood the truth. Humans had not only survived, they had become something eternal, something even empires could not defeat. But the figure did not finish them all. Instead, it let some ships live, their crews trembling. Broken, horrified, the figure's final words cut into their hearts. "You will leave now. You will tell your empire, you will tell them humanity is not gone. We are waiting, and if you ever return, we will be ready." The survivors fled, their ships sparking, their minds shattered, and Earth grew quiet again. The Guardians returned to the ground, the glowing structures dimmed, but the Ark whispered, "We endure, always." Asterisk, the eternal warning. Battle was over. The skies above Earth were filled with wreckage. Burning ships, shattered metal, and drifting corpses of the once proud Zerati fleet. What was left of the invaders limped away, engines sparking, crews broken, minds forever scarred, but Earth itself was silent again. The Guardians sank back into the land, the shining towers dimmed, and the giant figure of light faded into the shadows of the Ark. Only the whisper of humanity remained, a quiet echo. "We endure, we rise, we wait." Far across the galaxy, the survivors reached the heart of the Zerati Empire. They stumbled into their emperor's chamber, eyes wide, hands shaking, their words tumbling over one another in terror. "They are not gone. Humanity is alive. They have built something we cannot fight. They are gods made of memory and machine." The emperor, a being who had crushed dozens of worlds, a leader who never showed fear, felt his blood run cold. Because in the voices of his soldiers he heard not exaggeration, but truth. The empire held a council, commanders, scientists, priests, and strategists all gathered. Each spoke of the impossible, a dead world that fought back, weapons that bent reality, voices of the long dead breaking entire fleets. and machines of Earth that walked like titans. Some called for another invasion. We must strike now, destroy them before they grow stronger. But others trembled and argued. You saw what happened, they let survivors go. They wanted us to return with the story, it was a warning. The chamber grew silent as those words sank in. Even the Emperor's voice broke slightly. If we fight again, it may not be only Earth that rises. It may be the entire galaxy that burns. News of the failed invasion spread, not just through the Zerati Empire, but through their rivals, their allies, their enemies. Every species heard whispers. Earth is not dead, humanity is not gone. They wait in silence and they will rise again. Merchants in faraway markets repeated the tale. Pirates in dark spaceports spoke in hushed tones. Even warlords who had never feared anyone found themselves glancing nervously at the stars, afraid of the planet called Earth. Back on Earth, the Ark went quiet, but its guardians were never gone beneath the surface. Its machines continued to move, its memory continued to grow. The voices of humanity still whispered, but now they no longer spoke only of survival, they spoke of choice. Do we remain hidden, or do we rise and take back the galaxy that once killed us? Some voices urged peace, enough blood, let us rest, let us remain only as a warning. Others urged war, we endured for 500,000 years, now it is time to claim what is ours. No empire can stop us. The Ark listened, it did not decide. It only prepared. One night, a single starship lifted from the surface of Earth. It was small, silent, and shaped of both ancient metal and new light. Inside it, no living pilot sat. Only the voices of humanity guided its path. The ship vanished into the void, its destination unknown, but its mission clear, to remind the galaxy that humanity was awake. Generations passed. The Zerati never attacked again. Their fleets grew stronger, but their courage grew weaker. Every time they looked at Earth on their star maps, they turned their eyes away. And in the shadows of their fear, legends spread, legends of the eternal warning. Parents whispered it to their children, never anger the world of ghosts. Commanders trained their soldiers with it, do not make the mistake of arrogance. Even the dead of Earth can kill you. Priests made it into prophecy. The day will come when humanity walks the stars again. On that day, all empires will bow. The Ark remained silent but watching, waiting for the time when the galaxy would forget the warning. Because it knew one thing with certainty, empires are proud, empires are arrogant. And empires always forget. When that day comes, when the Zerati or another race dares to challenge Earth again, the Ark will awaken fully, the guardians will rise. The voices will roar and humanity will step forward, not as survivors, not as ghosts, but as rulers of the stars. As the stars drifted above the silent world, the last whisper echoed through the Ark. Soft yet unshakable, this is not the end, this is the warning. And one day, it will be the beginning.